most satisfying and yet essential projects in South Africa, community sustainable gardens. It was in 2004 that Solinus Jolliffe began his gardens in Montagu. His aim in those days was to supply fresh vegetables for an ECD school and soup kitchen being developed in one of the townships in Montagu. The gardens were soon blooming, and even the top chefs of Montagu came to view and order produce. With the help of the newly formed Breede River Winelands Rotary Club, a mechanical tiller was purchased, and soon the gardens were extended to fields closer to the river, and the business of providing small plants or plankies for local home gardens or haste tankies had become a hugely successful Rotary-supported project. Soon there were more than 100 haste tankies in Montagu, providing not just nutritional meals for the families, but also the opportunity to sell their products to their neighbours. Unemployment in this country town is very high, so any income is most welcome. Then disaster struck in November 2008. The steady 3 days of rain raised the level of the Casey River, and soon the gardens at Sonneblom were flooded, as well as new gardens on the north side of the town. The floods made headlines in South Africa, and the effect on this sustainable project was enormous, resulting in no produce for the creche nor work for the staff.
Well, the effects of the floods were that we lost all our gardens, 2 primary fields on either side of the river, and these fields were producing a substantial amount of produce, which was allowing us to be in a net situation. Those funds were being used to not only support our 7 staff, but also the staff at the local ECD, and that all came to an immediate end.
This could have heralded the end of the project and the loss of jobs, as well as supplies to local communities and funding for the creche. Rotary immediately launched an appeal throughout the Rotary community of the Western Cape, as well as some overseas clubs. The response was astonishing, with some 200,000 rands raised in a period of just 3 months. The Distel Foundation also committed funding to the rebuilding of the gardens, and a significant amount was gratefully received. The project was re-energized, and within 2 months, new irrigation was in place, contaminated soil was removed, and beds were seeded. 6 months later, the gardens were breaking even, and the first seedling sales were made.
Well, the funding was absolutely spectacular. It allowed all the staff to remain working both here and at the ECD and creche. It allowed us to buy all the seed that we required, to rebuild the trellis structures that had been swept away, to rebuild the irrigation that had been swept away, and it allowed us to actually bring this garden back. And we're now almost once again self-sustainable.
The amazing thing is that Rotary, industry, individuals have come together to make this all possible. Distel, for instance, have been extremely generous and have enabled us to finish the job and do it properly.
This type of project in South Africa is not only essential for a country with high levels of poverty, but also provides significant returns on investments and time. There are 3 types of sustainable garden projects. First and foremost is the house garden or haste tanky. Here, small gardens in local dwellings are converted to growing vegetables, either as one crop as part of a community effort, or simply to grow vegetables for the family. Seed and irrigation are an essential starter here, along with fertilizer and some training for the family on how to grow the vegetables. In wintertime, the benefits to the community are enormous, as this is a good vegetable growing season. A community garden needs someone in charge to make sure that crops are sowed, tilled and harvested at the right times, and that the produce goes to the end user as soon as possible. This could be at a school, hospital or even a hospice. This garden in Bonnievale supports both an ECD and a large informal settlement. Gardens can also be used to provide fresh vegetables to soup kitchens, such as this Rotary established kitchen in Bonnievale. The most integral garden project is the self-sustaining market garden, such as the one at Sonneblom. Here there is a regular staff, sophisticated irrigation systems and a marketing team to supply both fresh vegetables, seedlings for other NGOs, as well as a garden stall to supply the local community and local tourists. The staff earn salaries and have an interest in the success of the project. It is of course also the community feeder for all other types of sustainable gardens in the community. The main emphasis should be on the sale of seedlings to other community gardens and of course Haystankies. In 2008, 800,000 seedlings were sold or donated to NGOs and government projects at 1/10 of normal commercial value. Today, a sense of normality has returned to Sonneblom. The business is back online, the staff is working, and the combination of the corporate world and Rotary International has proved that even Karoo floods cannot halt a community's determination to survive. If you are interested in starting a community garden project, contact Rotarian Chris Powell on 023 614 3565.